Ladies and gentlemen, now I don't think it's too much of a secret that I'm a massive Warlock fanboy. This champion is, I think, arguably the best character that has been released all year. And that is a big statement, man. There's a lot of stuff to contend with this year. We've got champions like Namor, Sunspot, Nick Fury, Captain Marvel. But I think in terms of reach and the amount of stuff that Warlock actually does for your roster and progression potential in the game, he's just unmatched because he can do absolutely everything. And it seems like every piece of content that comes out, he just has more and more uses. Today, we got a ton of really different cool matchups. And in terms of boosters, we are only using a 200% power booster, so we could get like 50% more attack from attack and health boost there as well. But also synergy wise, we do have the Nick Fury synergy with Quake for the additional attack and also evade charges. Then we've got both the guillotine and also Ultron synergies for the power gain and Fury whenever we would bleed against the biohazard node. However, the guillotine one does have a 12-second cooldown on the power gain. However, this first matchup, Nightcrawler, man, this is like almost a 300k Nightcrawler, just absolutely demolished in like a minute. It was such a fun matchup. I got a little bit lucky with the heavy counters there, but yeah, the fun really starts to begin in some of these matchups now that we do have biohazard in play, because it's going to give us so much more power gain. And the guillotine synergy synergizes really well with the 200% power booster, because it just allows you to get so many special 2s off very, very quickly. And also the Ultron synergy as well is giving us 60% attack Fury buff every time we proc like a bleed. So the combination of this just gives Warlock some really crazy damage, man. And again, we're not using suicide masteries, we're not using attack and health boost. So if you wanted to, there's even more damage output you can get here. But because of the frequency that we're using special 2s like suicide masteries, you know, aren't the most friendly in this setup. So yeah, like additional attack and health boosters could have even more damage. But look at this Omega Red, man. This is like a 50k PI, like 300,000 hit point Omega Red. Just dead in like 50 seconds. Just a crazy matchup there. Really does show you the damage potential of Warlock in the, you know, the right matchup and scenario. But also you can get even more damage by doing like heavy counters, especially when there are armor breaks. And one of the things I love about Warlock is once you've got the opponent in the corner, because the heavy attack is so quick, it's fairly easy to chain on heavy attacks. So we get X23 into the corner here, we go for a special 2, pretty much straight into another intercept special 2 there. And there's so much damage once you stack up those armor breaks as well. The power booster is just working out so well, giving us so much power. Another special 2, and that 200,000 hit point X23 just shredded in 43 hits there. And again, most of those hits were on the special 2 because it's got 10 hits. Now, this next matchup is probably like the worst one in the entire video, just because Warlock, he kind of does rely a little bit on those armor breaks to get like some really nice damage ramp up, especially with the tech power booster on the special 2, because again, that's just giving you more and more power back. And Rogue does have a very strong reduction to ability duration, so the armor breaks are expiring fairly quickly here. Also, we had terrible timing with the stun node as well, so yeah, she activates a special attack and you don't have that immunity for the tech boost, you are going to get stunned, which is really annoying. And if you're not using a special attack when that timer expires and you don't have like that green shield immunity, then you get stunned as well. So yeah, we just had some like bad RNG at certain points here. We bait out special 1, like we're going all right for the comeback here, lads, not too bad. We don't proc any bleeds there, so we don't get the immunity. She fires off a special 1, we just get immediately stunned from the activation, but then we retaliate with a special 2 and get that last down. So a little bit of a brutal fight, man, but that was just really bad RNG against the biohazard node there. However, it lines up the next fight perfectly, and this fight is one of my favorite fights that I have ever done. It was so cool, so cheesy, because Iceman in 6.3, if you come in with a champion that doesn't have immunities, it's such a horrible fight, because he literally deals about like 30,000, 40,000 damage. It's just so ridiculous. But Warlock has a full-on immunity to Cold Snap and also Frostbite, so we don't have to worry about that there. We go straight into a special 2, retaliate, backdraft, another special 2 there. Look at that damage, right up to another special 2 again. We avoid the special 1, going for 1 hit there, special 2, and that man is down. That is the power of Warlock, boys. Look at that, making that Iceman look like he's in Act 2, mate. So if you do get a Warlock, I cannot recommend strongly enough, every time those 200% tech power boosters come around, you want to make sure you stock up on them fully, because they are so valuable for this champion in all sorts of endgame content. A lot of his damage output does come from the special too, and if you can just nail like 2 or 3 of them back to back, like, the fight is over. It's just absolutely crazy, and I love it, boys. Absolutely love it. But this next matchup here, we've got Invisible Woman on the Biohazard node. So this is from the Medusa chapter. This is the very first fight here, and this was a bit of a fun one, bit of an interesting one, because now we're in the territory where we don't have the class advantage. However, Warlock has some kind of good abilities versus Invisible Woman. It kind of looks like the ability accuracy reduction. I'm not too sure if this is intended or not, but just completely broke through the invisible mechanic and prevented it from triggering on the shield expiry there. But yeah, just a very quick, very easy fight. But even if that didn't work, you can still apply bleeds to Invisible Woman to make sure the invisibility goes on cooldown. But Warlock is literally an absolute machine, man. He's so good in these scenarios where you can take advantage of nodes like Biohazard with the synergies and also the tech power booster. Like, all of this stuff comes together so well to make this champion absolutely crazy for the right matchup. But again, as you saw in the Nightcrawler matchup, like, first up, even when he doesn't have these bonuses and advantages, he's still like a really hard-hitting, very good, viable champion, and that's the reason why he's carried me through so many Alliance Wars, man. So, you know, I said it at the start of the video, but I really do believe that Warlock is probably one of the most impactful champions the game has had introduced this year, because he's the solution to, I think, about 80 to 90% of the problem fights in endgame Marvel Contest champions, because he's just got so much utility and so many different ways you can play this champion in order to get past certain characters' mechanics. Next up, we have a Masochism Green Goblin on the Biohazard node. So this is one of the fights again in the Medusa chapter as well. So going into this one, like, as soon as you get that first stack of virus, the fight is just over, man. This man cannot regenerate, and every time he attempts to, he's also going to degenerate, deal a little bit of damage to himself via the awakened ability, and also power drain, which can happen even without the awakened ability there. So yeah, this fight is just a beautiful one against Green Goblin. We go straight in with a special 2 here. Unfortunately, we weren't really getting the Biohazard procs, man, so we didn't get our Fury. I don't know if that's due to, like, the ability accuracy reduction here, because I think the ability accuracy reduction, I'm not too sure if it's currently bugged or intended. Like, I know Kabam have known about this for a few months now, but I think the ability accuracy reduction is only meant to be offensive, but I think it applies to defensive abilities as well. And even if this is fixed, like, it's not really going to change Warlock too much in a lot of matchups, because he's still, like, absolutely insane even without this ability. But yeah, it's going to make some matchups, you know, a little bit more annoying, because you're not going to be able to get past certain abilities, but there's still a lot of abilities in this game that opponents activate and are counted as offensive abilities. So yeah, I'm not really too sure what's going on with that, man. But a nice triple heavy there to end the Green Goblin matchup, and that's what I love about Warlock, man. It's just a heavy attack. It's so fun to fire off. There is so much damage, especially if you've got like a couple of stacks of armor break lingering from the special too. Now, next up, we have the MODOK matchup, and I think this was one of my first times fighting MODOK with Warlock, because this fight's a little bit weird. Usually, if you fire off the special 2, for most champions, there's kind of a silent stun, so opponents can't react or evade or anything, but in the MODOK matchup, it seems like MODOK can recover and auto-block you, which is a bit of an issue there. So the Nick Fury evade charge definitely saved me there. We go in for a heavy counter, triple heavy actually. That was a really good lineup there. We dodged that. I kind of try my luck again to see if it's going to work, but unfortunately he still gets the auto block there. So yeah, goes in, it consumes my last evade charge, so we're skating on thin ice now against this MODOK. We dash back to bait and dodge the special 1, going for a hit there, medium straight into a heavy, straight into another heavy, straight into another heavy there. So I love that as soon as you get Mr. Potato Head in the corner, you can just dominate this man with heavy spam. So yeah, we're just loving life, boys, getting all that bleed damage there. I think that was like 4 heavies in a row. So yeah, just such a nice time in that matchup. Another heavy attack straight into a special 3 to end it. And I love this animation of Warlock kind of just pulling out the battery there, sending MODOK absolutely flying. But yeah, a really nice way to end that matchup, but still, you know, a little bit shaky at some points of the special 2 recovery, but absolutely demolished. Now, to end today's showcase, we've got the final Medusa boss in 6.3.1. Now, this Medusa can only take damage from bleed damage, damage, and she also has a 5% buffet node as well. Now, you're probably thinking 5%, that doesn't sound like a lot of regeneration, but when you're on an opponent that has 500,000 hit points, 5% is a fairly substantial chunk of healing there. However, Warlock has two perfect counters to this fight, and the first one is the infection, because it completely blocks out the healing if you're playing fairly aggressively enough, and also the bleed damage on the heavy attacks. As soon as you stack up those heavies as well, there is a bleed vulnerability node, so for the second bleed you get, it increases the damage by 200%, so it allows your bleeds to stack up and deal a lot more damage there. But essentially, by just spamming heavy attacks, Warlock can win this fight, and it's a really cool little matchup. I will say for Medusa, I do think Symbiote Supreme is overall the best option for this fight, but Warlock, he's a very effective, a very viable option. I would easily say that he's in the top 5 options for this fight, because yeah, he absolutely shreds it, providing your parries are on point, but also you can heavy counter the heavies, and also like you can sometimes heavy counter the special ones. You need to be really careful with the timing. I was kind of like playing about on this fight, seeing if I could get the distance right and the timing right, but it is a little bit of a sketchy one sometimes. Like there was a very safe opportunity to do it. I tried to get it again, but the Nick Fury evade saves me there, so I was a little bit too close. But yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one. You don't need to heavy counter those special ones though. I was just trying to do it, you know, seem a little bit flashy, but now I have no evade charges left, so I'm trying to be a little bit more safe and only go for those when I'm, you know, fairly certain that we do have a good distance there. But I think I do fail, you know, once or twice during this fight. However, here I think we go for a special 2-bait. We trigger the buffet, the healing doesn't trigger, which is really nice there. But then I notice I have a special 3, and the special 3 does have power drain, so I'm like, oh, why bait a special when we can just drain all of our power, and also I think get a little bit of regeneration as well from consuming the infection. So we regenerate 5% there, and yeah, start draining our power, which is a really, really nice time. So we go for another heavy attack there, another heavy attack, straight into another heavy right against the wall. Dude, I just friggin' love that heavy animation. So yeah, just spamming those heavy attacks to bring this one home. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy today's Warlock showcase, please do smash that like button and let me know your thoughts on Warlock in the comments section below. If you do have any gameplay requests for Act 6 Chapter 3 and champion showcases and spotlights you'd like to see, also do let me know below. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed today's Warlock gameplay. Please do smash that like button, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.